Hi everyone, I'm trying something a little bit different today. Hope you like the slightly new format. So what I'm making today is keto Egg Foo Yung, and the version that I'm making is with shrimp. Now normally when I go to the restaurant I order vegetable Egg Foo Yung, but I really feel like half the time in the restaurant they're either serving shrimp or chicken or pork Egg Foo Yung. So I wanted to be a little bit closer to what the restaurants do. So I'm going to show you the ingredients that I'm using. And these ingredients kind of are split up into two sections. One is for a little gravy that goes over the Egg Foo Yung when you're finished. However, in authentic, original Chinese recipes, they literally make these Egg Foo Youngs for their kind of like an omelet breakfast, and they don't use gravy. But Americans, we love gravy. And with keto, you really shouldn't be making gravy. However, I've kind of adapted a few recipes that I saw online and made this version, and I've very carefully researched and counted exactly how many carbs are in this entire setup that you see here. So really all you see here is about 12 carbs altogether, and there are many more than one serving in this, what I'm about to make for you. So let's check it out. Okay, so I'm going to point out the ingredients that I use in the gravy. So what I have is, I'm doing exact measurements, which I really don't normally do, but in order to calculate the carbs, I had to do this. So I'm using 4 teaspoons of cornstarch. Guess what? I'm out of cornstarch. So I decided to use a little bit of this chicken gravy mix. And I use 2 teaspoons. There's still a lot left in the bag. And I put that in the pan here. I also put 1.5 teaspoons of soy sauce, 2 teaspoons of oyster sauce, 1 tablespoon of wine. I'm using white wine, and I'm from the Napa Valley. So Sutter Home Pinot Grigio, lovely wine. 1/2 teaspoon of sesame oil, 1 cup of water, has no carbs, and a little dash of pepper. Now you can use white pepper or black. I happen to have black pepper, and I'm a person that either uses what I have on hand, or I substitute, or decide to make something different. Going over to the section for the actual omelet, the Egg Foo Yung, I have a different pan now. It's cast iron, and I'm using 6 eggs. I'm using 6 eggs. See them here? None of this is sponsored. You can use any brand you want. 4 chopped up green onions. 2 cups of bean sprouts, but I split it up and put 1 cup of bean sprouts and 1 cup, almost 1 cup of cabbage chopped up, and then the green onion. Salt and pepper, and that's the reason for that is I only had 1 cup of bean sprouts. Those are very hard to find these days. In the 1970s, they sold bean sprouts everywhere. You can make your own by going online and ordering mung beans and getting a sprouting jar from Amazon and grow your own, which is what I'm thinking of doing. 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil that I'm going to put there in that pan after I get the pan very hot. A teaspoon of sesame oil, a bit of garlic. Today I'm using this kind of garlic. Normally I use fresh garlic. I keep that in the freezer. When I run out of garlic, I still have garlic. And then 4 ounces of what I have here are Gulf shrimp. They're medium size, and I chopped them a little bit. So each one of these medium Gulf shrimp are cut into about 4 pieces. And at the end, when you're all finished and you're serving this, plating it up, you could use some sesame seeds. What I'm going to do right now is beat up the eggs, kind of mix the vegetables a little bit more, and heat the pan at the same time. Right before that, I'm going to put that water into the pan and get the gravy nearly ready before I start frying the Egg Foo Yung. I want you to see a nifty little trick that I've done for most of my life while I'm cooking, and that's hang the recipe up. So I put the pad inside there and just pull the page out, and it really works well. Here we go. Oh, of course I turned on the wrong burner. That's because I'm trying to hurry and make this short as possible video. So here goes the rice. This stuff got hot already. I was stirring the other pan, the vegetables and the other things, so then this got in front of me. A couple of things about me that you don't really need to know, but you might be curious, is that I'm a senior citizen, so I've been cooking for many years, but I'm also needing to watch my carbs. I've been on keto for about 5 years, off and on, just like everybody else. And I put the shrimp already in the vegetables. And oops, just a second. Okay, I'll tell you what just happened. It's happened before. If you've watched my other videos, you've probably seen this a couple of times, that my stove got too hot. Cast iron got too hot, so I set it in the oven so it wouldn't burn the counter. And now I'm going to try to put these vegetables, shrimp, and eggs together. The sauce is simmering, and I'm going to probably have to turn that down. I noticed I had a couple of comments where they don't really like the frying pan that I was using in other videos. It's because there's been a recent death in our family, and my dishes are somewhere else, most of them. So I'm trying to make do with what I have right here for the moment. So please excuse me, but I don't have a big enough bowl. I'm going to put what I can fit into this small bowl. I actually was in such a hurry, I nearly poured the egg into that straining bowl. Wouldn't that have been fun to watch? Okay, here we go for take 3 or 4. We have the warm cast iron. Come back out of the oven. I turned the burner down. This burner seems to be red hot all the time. So I still have the sesame oil and the Crisco vegetable oil out. The gravy is pretty much finished. It's not very thick, which is fine. It doesn't really matter to us. And well, it looks to me like there's too many vegetables, which is fine. That's never going to be a problem in anybody's book, I don't think. So I'm going to go ahead and heat the oil up. That's about 2 tablespoons. That might be a little less. And then I'm going to just sprinkle some sesame oil in there. And I've got my pot holder ready in case the thing starts burning up again. And we're going to be frying these little things right in a minute. I'm going to get a serving plate ready. And also going to mention that I have put many things away already. And when I was a little tiny girl, about 5 or 6 years old, my grandma used to show me how she cooked. She used to own a restaurant. And she always put things away as she was cooking. She took everything, all the ingredients out before she started, and then put things away as quickly as she could, so that by the time the food is ready, almost everything is back where it belongs. It's a pretty good system. Can't really stir it in this tiny bowl. Again, too many vegetables. I'm not adding more eggs because I don't need that many servings. This is my all-time favorite thing to order in the restaurant. I don't want to burn this, so I've got it kind of low now. It's still kind of hot. I turned it down and now it's between low and medium, and it's really bubbling a lot. Since those shrimp are pretty much raw, I kept them frozen until about an hour ago and then set them out so they could mostly thaw. I get worried about food poisoning and that. And no, I would have preferred to make just vegetable egg foo young. But here we are. I think that I have enough servings here to make probably at least 8 of these things, maybe more. Turned it a little early, but the shrimp are already cooking, but I'm going to give this a little extra time because I turned it early. Be right back. There were a few shrimp kind of showing there on the edge, so I turned those over, and I'm going to tell you on the second one exactly how many minutes total I cook each one of them. So I've prepared some plates with paper towels on them because I also don't like to have greasy things, so I want to kind of drain them after they're done. The gravy is finished. Things are looking good. Everything's on track. It's just that if I had a bigger pan, I could make more at once, but here we are. Right now I'm giving you a close-up because I tried to just lift it up and look how brown it was on the bottom, and the inside kind of opened up. It kind of flipped open, so you can kind of see how it's cooking there. I'm going to go ahead and close it back up now. Nobody said I was the neatest cook in the world, but you know what? This stuff smells heavenly. And since I do order this in the restaurant probably like maybe once a month, let me tell you, the ones in the restaurant are very plain, and I'm sure they don't have the garlic and these other aromas that I'm smelling that just smell so heavenly. And that shrimp is cooking just fine. I updated a little bit more oil in there. Looks like this is going to take a lot of oil. Very hard to pick this stuff up. Maybe I shouldn't make it so thick. The next one I'm going to make thinner. But when you heat up these bean sprouts, they kind of shrink a little bit. That one has fewer shrimp in it, which is fine with me. That side's been cooking for about 2.5 minutes, and it's partly brown. It looks like the temperature should be kept almost exactly between low and medium, so of course it depends on your stove too. I'm going to go ahead and turn it right here in front of you. So that was just over 4 minutes on that side. This side should take probably, I would say, around 3 minutes. So let's go with between 6 and 8 minutes on each omelet, pancake, Young, Foo, whatever you want to call it, each one of these. It's fairly thick. If you had a big 12, 14-inch pan, you could probably make 4 of these at once. Normally they're made in a round circle. Sorry, I'm not able to make a circle right now, but it looks good. It smells wonderful. And the sauce tastes very kind of bland, which I think is fine because it's just to kind of give it a little dressing. Okay, we're very close to 6 minutes total, so let's see what's going on underneath. Not quite. So the 8 minutes is probably the way to go. I'm giving you a little peek at pancake number 3. On this one, I decided to use this little measuring cup to pour it in there, and it works pretty well. This one is 1/3 of a cup, so I can tell you the measurement of this one pancake, and that is omelet, whatever you want to call it, just over 1/3 of a cup. So I'd say 1/2 cup of the mix for each one would be just about right. I'm at 5 minutes. I'm going to turn it. Almost perfect. I personally have a personal preference for things that are a little more done than other people do. So you might want to pull it out at 4 minutes. Or not pull it out, but turn it at 4 minutes. Also, if we push it down a little tiny bit, that'll help. Help get more food touching the hot pan. I just checked it at 7 minutes. It needs just a tiny bit more. Here we go with the 1/3 cup measuring method. The oil is hot. I have to add oil at each one. That's 1/3, and here would be the rest of the way to 1/2 cup. Trying to make it into a circle. Smash it a little bit. Looks like it's going to end up making 7 or 8 of these, so in my opinion that's at least 4 servings. And I think all the ingredients probably cost, let's say $10. $10 for Chinese dinner for your whole family. Make some rice and maybe some wonton soup. Number 5. Number 5 is turned. Well, there is number 7. They are a little bit on the big side, in my opinion. When I order this in a restaurant, they usually give me 2 with sauce. So I guess you almost get 4 servings. Maybe if it was a child, they're only going to have 1, maybe. There you have it. 12 grams of carbs, 4 servings, so that's 3 grams of carbs. Completely doable on keto. After I checked the gravy / sauce, after it's been cooking all this time, it actually needed a little bit more soy sauce, so I did do that. I added a little soy sauce to this gravy. There's the gravy recipe. Again, I substituted the cornstarch, and I only used 2 teaspoons of the gravy mix. It's probably why it's not very thick. And there are the pancake omelet / patty recipe. Towards the end, there was more egg in each one. So if you had a big bowl and you took the scoop and pulled out an equal amount of eggs and vegetables, it would work out fine. So if you wanted it to feed a couple of more people, I would just add a couple of eggs and a little bit more cabbage. I think it would be fine. And if you do vegetable ones, I think it'd be fine to add a couple of eggs and maybe more cabbage or bean sprout. I'm going to go ahead and say what the other people say on the other channels. If you like this recipe, check the description for the recipe. Press the like button. Subscribe to my channel because I have more keto compliant regular meals planned out for the future videos. And subscribe. In the future, you may be able to join this channel so that you can help me buy a real frying pan. Now for the rest of the story. This is the inspiration for why I would personally want to cook some Chinese food at home. When I was a little girl in the 1960s, I visited my aunt and uncle who lived in San Francisco. It took me to Chinatown to go shopping. Sometimes I would buy little trinkets here and there. There were little tiny shops, and we would just walk along all the different shops and then finally have lunch somewhere. But dipping in and out of the shops and looking at all the little things they had for sale was so fun. And the food was wonderful. A lot of the people there were first generation immigrants. So there's that sauce. Like I said, it's not that thick, but yummy, yummy. I added a little extra soy sauce. Go ahead and add another teaspoon of gravy mix if you'd like.